Okay, now we're ready to change the home page. We want to have a different structure for it than we did for all the rest of the pages. There was our layout that we'd come up with. We wanted to have these three pictures right in the center, and they're of course going to lead to their particular areas. We had this phone number down here, although this could actually be just a message box for anything, and we'll talk a bit more about that as we go along. So how do we convert all of this? Well, we want to take a look first of all at the structure. We're going to have to get rid of the sidebar, of course, and there's a fair bit of space up top here, which if we go in with our inspect element, we find out that's the main div, and it's got a lot of padding on the top there, so we'll want to get rid of that. So our first step is going to be to create a template, a page template, just for the home page, and that's what I've started here. Template name, remember we need that, and I've just given it the name home page only to make it very clear on the drop down menu that this is only to be used for the home page. Alright, so now we just take everything that we have normally in page.php is really all we've got here, but we're just going to change this now so that it says home-page. Instead of the loop being for page, we need to name it home-page, and that's what we're going to create over here. This is the loop-home-page.php. And what we need to do is create a 3-column section. Remember, in the center here we want this, so it's a 3-column section we want to create. And we go back over to here, and I'm just going to give it its own wrapper to house the 3 sections. I give each section div its own ID, give them the class name homepick, so I can control all 3 of them together, but identify each one if I need to. So I'm going to save that, and let's go over here, and I'm going to change the template on here to home page only. So I update my home page. We go back over to here, and we do our refresh. And now we've got, there's our 3 pictures there and our text. Notice we've still got a big gap over here. So we need to do some CSS work, obviously. So structurally what we want to do is we have a class name. Every template gets its own special class. This is generated automatically by WordPress. So I just have to put in that class, which is basically the name, a page template, and then the name of the file. And then I identify container, because I'm trying to change the whole container, and we want to get rid of that. We want to get rid of the big area over there. So we give it, we're going to float it differently. It was floating to the right before, so we're going to float container to the left in this case, and get rid of any right margin, which we don't need anymore. And then we were going to cut down the padding as we saw on the main div. So again, by using this class here, I can isolate only the home page and change the padding on the top of the main div. And there we go, 20 pics. Now we also need to change a bit about the content div, and we do that here by using this class OneColumn, which we created up here in our home page template. We made sure we put in the class OneColumn here so that we don't have any sidebar. So when we go back over to here, what we're going to do is give this a specific width and give it a bit of padding on either side so we're not right to the edges. And so let's upload that and see what we get. So we've removed all that area over on the left with the sidebar, and we've also got a little bit of a margin there so we're not too flush to the edge. Now we need to style this whole area with the 3 images. So if I go over to here, I've created some styling that's going to work for us. We've got our home wrapper. We're going to center everything, give the whole thing a bit of padding, and we're going to make sure that we've styled the H3s, the headings of each of them, make them fairly large. And then what we do is each of those home pics, the 3 of them, we float each of them to the left and give them a width of 300, so spread them out over the course of that. So let's gather all of this and put it into our style sheet. And then we upload that, and let's refresh now. There we go. Now, one of the things I haven't done yet, of course, is put in the links that we would need in here. But one of the things you would look at doing eventually as a customization here is it would be great if the client could change all of these very, very easily. All right? And there's a number of ways you could do that. You could create a widget area for each of these sections. make it very, very simple for them. They simply plug in a title, again paste in the coding for the picture. They would upload it to WordPress, grab the URL and paste that in. If you were very, very handy with WordPress, you could create other structures where they could literally upload the images into a theme options page, and then the information is passed along here as a variable, along with, say, the wording for this. And you'll see later as we get into customizations, there's a lot of different ways to do it. This is all hard-coded here, and again, you'd need the client to get you or someone else to come in and change it, but you could make it much more flexible. Same with this over here. Now, we don't have time to do all of this, but this box here, so you could create this as a widget area. And we'll learn more about widget areas and so forth later on. Same with the current special. Make that a widget area. And again, you just plug in coding like this. And this is a sample of a widget area coding that you would put in a template. Don't worry about what it all means and so forth. But you could take it, for example, plug it in here, and you could say, in between our pictures, which are here, and the post, you plug this in. And now again, they could even remove the widget entirely. If there's a widget, plug it in here. And then you would style that particular widget, because you've got the CSS here that you've created, you would style it to have that look that you wanted. You know, in this case we had gray with an outline, but whatever it is, the styling really doesn't matter in that sense. You can do whatever you want with the styling at that point, because you've created a widget area that you control, and then the client has control over the content. Exact same thing with the current specials over here. So you can get into as much customization as you want with your particular template, and that's part of what we'll be going on to later in the course.